Good day everyone, this is Mr. Lyndon Santos of the Senior High School Social Sciences Cluster to present to you the lecture on Personal Development Lesson Number 2. This lesson is all about developing the whole person in middle and late adolescence. For this lesson, we're gonna cover 5 major aspects of development that once combined together, it aims for the holistic development of an individual. These are the physical, cognitive, psychological, social-emotional, and spiritual and moral aspects of development. In addition, you are expected to acquire the following objectives: that through this lesson, you will be able to develop an understanding of the different aspects of holistic development and how these 5 aspects affect you as a person in terms of your thoughts, feelings, and behavior. So holistic development is significant because it is when we experience the onset of establishing our personal identities as individuals. It is during the adolescence period when we begin to define who we are, and by adolescence period is where we encounter so many changes that influence us about who or what we are now at present. Such changes in the 5 different aspects, namely physical, cognitive, social-emotional, psychological, spiritual, and moral development, are necessary for growth and improvement. And by understanding each aspect enables us to fully understand who we really are as individuals. These changes begin in physical aspect. When you start to enter puberty period with a typical age bracket for girls and boys, you encounter primary and secondary changes in your body. These primary changes indicate the hormonal development that's taking place in your genes and in your biological makeup. Like for girls, it is indicated by their menarche or the first menstruation, while for boys, it is the spermarche or the first ejaculation or what we call the wet dreams. These primary changes brought by biological or hormonal factors now result to secondary changes, which cover your physical attributes like enlargement of muscles of your chest or breasts for girls, deepening of voice, as well as growth spurt, which is another example where height difference between boys and girls is evident. Girls tend to be taller than boys during puberty period. Next is the cognitive aspect of development. What is important here is to understand how we undergo such changes across the 4 stages as indicated by the period or specific age when the development happens. These stages were proposed by Jean Piaget, a famous cognitive psychologist. The moment the infant is born until the age of 2, the child undergoes 3 circular reactions that indicate cognitive development during this stage, beginning with primary circular reaction, where an infant manifests simple behavior in response to their own body such as sucking their thumb, and later on, they repeat the same behavior because they find it pleasurable by sensation. Eventually, they exhibit responses towards stimuli beyond their body, like giggling or smiling during a play with an adult. This is where object permanence may start to occur, where the infant begins to realize that objects that disappear are no longer there. For instance, when we play peek-a-boo with infants, they react by surprise when we disappear and return instantly right in front of them. The tertiary reactions among toddlers are characterized by intentional adaptations to events like when they start to experiment in their behaviors by trial and error. For example, trying out different sounds or simply acting out so that they get attention from their caregivers. For the second stage, what basically happens among children is the use of language and symbolic functions to communicate. General manifestation of such form of communication is exhibited through their activities in games or during their playtime. They use objects to represent meanings like, for instance, playing with a broomstick to be their horse, or playing with a cloth to represent their wings. During this time, animism also occurs, which explains why children talk to their toys and interact with them as a form of magical play that is meaningful to these children. Also, children during this stage become egocentric. It means that they see that other people understand absolutely their feelings. That explains why children act out or show tantrums when they don't get what they want. That behavior is their symbolic communication to adults about what they need. For the third stage, the following manifestations are already evident that covers age 7 to 11 among children. This is where they begin to be more logical about specific things, like using basic mathematical operations in understanding particular events, or the use of simple arithmetic tasks like adding things together. So they exhibit mental operations as well, but they still struggle with abstract thinking. Unlike the previous stage, this is where abstract thinking comes in during the formal operations stage of cognitive development. This is where children begin to perform more complicated cognitive tasks like formulating and testing hypotheses, as well as developing solutions to certain problems. We develop argumentative skills and decision-making skills in this stage. Also, we engage in many more complex activities involving our intellectual capacity. With this, it extends until adulthood that we continue developing our formal operations of thinking. Next is the psychological aspect of development, where certain changes in the brain and in our biology like puberty, hormonal development, or certain neurotransmitters affect our ways of thinking, feeling, or behaving, or what we refer to as the ABC of personality. Say for example, serotonin and dopamine, which are basic neurotransmitters that influence our happiness, motivation, and mood, may indicate how we portray ourselves to others and deal with different situations. Also, during this stage, adolescents begin to question themselves regarding their identities. The basic question of "who am I?" is an indication that adolescents start to be curious of what or who they are and the things they want in life. They experience identity crisis where they explore different events to establish their self-concept. That identity exploration among adolescents extends until the socio-emotional aspect of development, where they work with themselves and other people, like family and friends, to establish and maintain their identities. Thus, family and peer relationships are important indicators of socio-emotional process of interaction. This is where situations in the family or events with their friends will characterize how adolescents will think, feel, or behave about themselves and in different scenarios. That's why healthy relationships of adolescents with their family and friends become a significant part of their growth and development. Spiritual and moral development basically involves several factors that help shape a person's orientation towards acceptable and unacceptable behaviors. For an instance, would be the distinction between religiosity and spirituality, where individuals described to be religious follow specific patterns of rituals or teachings that set the standard of what would be the positive and negative actions for them. Unlike spirituality that may not strictly exhibit those particular set of beliefs, but rather a person holds to himself core values or faith in a creator, instead by being bounded by specific practices observed from a religious individual. Lawrence Kohlberg proposed these three different levels with 2 stages each as indicators or basis of individuals to interpret how we differentiate right and wrong actions. For the pre-conventional level, standard for acceptable and unacceptable actions is set by an authority accompanied with the reward and punishment system. For example, a child is asked by the teacher to behave properly, followed by a reward where it draws the line between what is pleasant and unpleasant action. Also, in this stage, it is where individualism is indicated, where the idea of right and wrong is not based on the reward or punishment system received, but instead it's based from how a person is going to benefit from that situation. Like for an instance, cheating in an exam, where a student would want to pass the exam and so he will gain advantage from committing cheating. For conventional level, the moral standard is dictated by how a person gains the validation or approval of other people. Like for an example, in a situation where you want to gain someone's trust, or you get commendation or positive remarks from others. Thus, it would characterize you to act in such a way that would favor the people who see your behavior. Also, this level covers individuals who follow set of rules or what is required by the law because such laws exist in the first place. So basically, it is not about what would favor other people. Instead, it's about having their sense of duty to abide as a response to those existing laws. Say for instance, following traffic rules. As an individual who knows that such rules exist to begin with, it is your duty and obligation to follow with the said rules. You will not be committing speed driving violation or jaywalking. And for the post-conventional stage, we are expected to exhibit positive set of actions because that would be beneficial for ourselves and for other people. We are not expected to harm others. That's the idea of social mutuality. While universal principle and conscience on the other side would say that we must do good and be good. There would be no need for validation or approval from other people, or there is no use of rewards or punishment system to indicate which actions are acceptable and unacceptable. Instead, it's a moral duty that we already know by conscience that doing good and being a good person is the right thing to do. To synthesize holistic development, it means to say that the development of cognitive, physical, socio-emotional, psychological, moral, and spiritual abilities in a person is by becoming capable of facing the demands and challenges of everyday life. These abilities are vitally important for success in professional fields of work.